Welcome to Fresh Catholic, a podcast for those who are converting, reverting, or simply want a fresh perspective of the Catholic faith to help them to open their hearts and minds to become closer to the love and goodness of Christ. My daily prayer is that I will be a bright light to others, to be filled with the love and light of Christ, so that when people look at me, they see Him radiating out from me for His glory. Hello and welcome. I'm Lori Balderas, and I'm so happy you're here. Well, thank you for taking time out of your summer activities to tune into Fresh Catholic Podcast. We appreciate you very much and wouldn't have a podcast without you. For those of you who don't know, we have a weekly podcast that comes out every Monday in which we have different topics that are anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour, or so, depending. We also have Fresh Catholic Daily, the daily Mass readings. Those range from 5 to 7 minutes, perfect for listening on the way to or from work or school, or while you're getting ready in the morning, or even when you're still in bed. Don't scroll TikTok, listen to the daily readings, a way better way to get your day going. You can listen on most platforms, Apple Podcasts or Spotify or any of them really, and we also have a YouTube channel. If you can't access any of those, head over to our website, freshcatholic.com, and have a listen there. We would very much appreciate it if you would not only share the podcast with your friends and family, the more the merrier, but if you could click the 5-star rating and leave a review, that would be a simple, easy, and very impactful way to help our mission. If you want to help us financially, which we really need to keep this podcast going, and will help us to continue our ministry of bringing people to Christ and back to the church, please consider becoming a Patreon, sponsor, or donor. Anything is appreciated. Go check out our website, freshcatholic.com. We have a lot going on there. Our own Fresh Catholic comics, a blog, a faith-based online store with exclusive Fresh Catholic merchandise designed by my husband, Simon. You can only get it there. We also have our own brand of Fresh Catholic coffee, which is roasted and shipped the same day. Hot or cold, it's delicious. We also have Fresh Catholic courses with educator Charles Merritt. 2 series are there to watch and listen to. The first series is Pivotal Prayers, which is the Hail Mary and the Our Father. The second series is Sin. There's also an incredible free downloadable book on sin that expands on Charles' lessons. If you would like to purchase a hardcover version of this book, head to our website to order. Charles also has an ongoing Bible study on the Gospel of Mark. Wow, we have a lot going on there at Fresh Catholic. These series and Bible studies are very informative, and you won't be sorry if you start listening to them. And last but not least, please follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Fresh Catholic to see short videos every day. Like, subscribe, rate, and review to those also. Thank you. And now, welcome, Simon Balderas. Hello, Simon. How are you today?
I'm doing good.
You're doing good.
Yes, I'm doing good.
All right, so this is what we're going to do. You know, we're ever changing here at Fresh Catholic. Got to keep it fresh.
Yeah.
So I had a whole other podcast set up today, and I was so proud of myself. I already knew what we were going to do, and I really had it planned out. And not to say we're not going to do it, but then there was an assassination attempt on President Trump, and that kind of threw my ideas into a different lane. Okay. So one of the reasons, not only because of that, but, you know, we've been talking about some pretty serious topics lately, especially. And I think those are all very important. And I do like to talk about serious things because I think we're in a big battle, you know, in our world. Mm-hmm. And in all factors, physically, mentally, spiritually. And so I know we've been trying to hit these kind of harder topics. But after this weekend with the assassination attempt, so we're recording this, you know, a couple of days after that, even though this isn't coming out for like a week.
Right.
Okay. So.
Is that, you want that in?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is very fresh in my head because this has just happened. There's a lot of the aftermath. And I just got to thinking, you know, when somebody almost dies like that, it really changes how you think about things. Thank heaven, you know, the Lord saved his life. The gentleman that was behind him wasn't so lucky, unfortunately. So God bless him and his soul and his family. I think when somebody has a near-death experience or they're experiencing something traumatic like that, like we've all seen it now 100,000 times, it just makes you really want to shift gears a little bit and think about some things that are positive maybe.
Okay.
Or think about some things that are a little more light and airy. Not to discount what happened, not to dismiss it, not to water it down in any way. You know, this was a very scary event. But I just decided the episode I want to do, which we'll do next week, we're going to be discussing the Sin series with Charles Merritt. So you and I are going to be discussing our take on the Sin series because I think it's really interesting. But this week, we're going to talk about positivity.
Okay.
Okay. So this is intended to be a more light and airy, more fun-spirited podcast.
Okay, I'm going to try my best.
I know you are. And you're, you know, I think admittedly you're a glass half empty sort of guy and I'm a glass half full sort of girl.
Yeah.
And we balance each other out. But one of my biggest dreams is to see you someday happy and excited about something. I don't know that I've ever experienced that. I've seen glimmers of you having happiness and joy. Typically, it's when you're talking to your grandchildren. That's when I see joy with you.
That's interesting. Okay.
But, you know, you laugh. I love nothing more than to hear you laugh, like a genuine laugh. I just, even thinking about it makes me laugh because it's so adorable when you're laughing because I think it's rare, but I love it.
Okay.
So I'm going to kind of ask you questions.
Okay.
And hopefully you have answers.
I hope so.
And if you don't, it's okay to say you don't have an answer.
Okay.
And then I'll try to answer too, and we'll kind of keep it clicking along, okay?
Okay.
This is mainly just to be fun and frivolous in this crazy world.
Oh boy. Okay.
Okay. So there's going to be 3 different sections. The first section is personal.
Okay.
The second section is on marriage. And the third section is on faith.
Okay.
Okay. So here we go. Simon Balderas.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I'm on the spot.
What brings you happiness and joy?
Oh boy. Starting with the hard ones first.
Is that hard?
Well, it's a broad question because I do get a lot of happiness and joy from a lot of different things.
Do tell.
Well, I mean, ultimately, what brings me the most joy is to see that my immediate family is healthy, happy, thriving, doing well, but most importantly, are nurturing their relationship with Christ. And that they are in communication with Christ, and that's important to them. It's a priority in their life. When I see that, I feel content. Otherwise, when you say my glass is half empty, I worry a little bit. I worry a lot, actually, and I worry about their souls. I worry about the things that may be unimportant in the scheme of life, and I would rather them, you know, enrich their lives with things that are really, really mean the most. We're here for a short time, and we have to have the best relationship with Christ possible to create that, that relationship, make it healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And I love to see their successes, but it's secondary to their success with their relationship with Christ, I guess. Mm-hmm. I just talked in a circle, but
it's okay.
Okay.
There's no right answer.
Okay.
Or no wrong answer.
Mm-hmm.
What brings me happiness and joy? I would say when I know, it's similar to yours, when I know that my family is okay and doing well and happy and thriving and living, a positive life with love and health, that brings me happiness and joy. When I know the people around me are, I guess that's it, taken care of, that they're taken care of and they're okay. It brings me much happiness and joy when people are also at peace. That makes me happy.
Yeah.
And again, where people, I agree with you. When I get very much happiness and joy when I see people who maybe are new to the faith or new to being in love with the Lord. It makes me so happy for them because I know how it feels, and that's like my ultimate goal. So like in particular, I'm watching our former guest. We had Sabrina McManigal. She became Catholic. Things are starting to fall into place for her. It thrills me. It makes me so happy. It brings such happiness and joy to my heart.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that my family would experience that.
Right.
It's like a missing piece.
Yeah.
And so that would bring me so much happiness and joy. If I knew, same as you, where you're saying if our children especially were right with the Lord, I think that would bring me much joy. What is a best day scenario for you?
Best day scenario.
Like if you were to end the day and you go, that was the best day, what would that day entail?
Well, wow. Probably entail a couple of things. One, and this isn't not in any order, but when I personally, like physically, am feeling healthy, like I used to swim and surf a lot. When I would get out of the ocean and I'd surf for hours, I had a physical feeling that was like exuberant, and I felt like life and connected to the earth and just healthy. I was in the sun. I was enjoying God's creation. I was harnessing a wave, when I was surfing, all that kind of stuff. That makes me feel really good. So if I woke up and I had a big beach surf day, that would be awesome. And then I came home to a triumph that my kids had accomplished. Like they adopted a baby, or they had a baby, or something really good happened to them. And then maybe top it off with like a really nice meal with you, just quietly. I think that would be like a really great day.
Okay, I'm going to note that for your birthday. That sounds like a great birthday type of a day.
Where are you going to get the baby?
I don't know. We have a lot of kids.
I know. Okay.
One of them's bound to have another baby.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. It would be more like, oh, my daughter's pregnant, she calls me, and surprise.
Just some like good news.
Good news, but like that's bearing life. That's really ultimately like that would be so great.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, my best day scenario, in all honesty, this is going to sound so boring, maybe, but I think a best day for me is obviously starting with Mass, because that's always the best scenario of my day, is starting with Mass. And then I would love to go out for a beautiful lunch meal, because I like something more in the middle of the day, like a nice meal, maybe overlooking the ocean, something like that. And then come home. Oh, there wouldn't have to be wine involved in the lunch.
There would have to be?
Yes, there would have to be wine involved in the lunch.
Okay.
And then I would come home and take a nap, because I love a nap these days. I'm a very tired girl. So I would take just a delicious nap, and then I would like to lay in bed and watch movies with you. With candlelight would be lovely. And to me, and I would like to also hear some good news from somebody. That would make me happy. Yeah. But I think that's it. Just like peace, calm, quiet. That's my best day.
Yeah. Kind of like what we do on Sunday. That's
kind of like what we do on Sunday. That's why that's so sacred to me, because our life is so chaotic and we're just constantly going. I'm exhausted. And Sunday, it's like, that's why Sunday is my favorite day, because I kind of do that every Sunday.
Yeah, you do.
I do. And it's like really important to me, because if I didn't do that, I really suffer. And I just, the older I get, the more I'm wanting peace, calm, and quiet. It's really interesting to me. I'd so much rather be doing that than most anything else, which is kind of interesting, because I didn't used to be like that. But I really like to lay in bed and be cozy. Okay. What's something you look forward to?
Wow, there's a lot of things I look too.
That's good.
Yeah. I mean, I look forward to spending time with my family, my children, my grandchildren, with you, with my parents sometimes, or friends and family kind of thing. I look forward to doing that. I know what makes me tick. I know that there's a lot of things that I do throughout my day that are fairly uncreative, like balancing my budgets or creating a budget or doing things that are sort of, I know I have to do them, but I don't necessarily get real joy out of it. So I look forward to doing creative things, like going out and taking pictures and writing and drawing and creative stuff. I need to do that, or else I think I literally will go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have to do that.
And I think what I look forward to is, I look forward to the day when my family will be more united.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing I look forward to, because I'm trying to keep a positive attitude about that, because we're not very close right now, and it's not because I want it that way.
Mm-hmm.
So I look forward to that, because I'm hoping that will happen,
Mm-hmm.
God willing. I'm looking forward to having some creative time also, having some things that we can do where we're doing things we want to enjoy, because most of the time all we're doing is working and we're kind of on a treadmill. And so I look forward to the day where we can just do things that are enjoyable and not so, expected, I guess. What are some of your favorite pastimes?
My favorite pastimes? Well,
Which I suppose could be hobbies or whatever too, but I just don't know that we have hobbies.
Well, but okay. I mean, some of the things that I used to do when I was younger in college and even beyond college, things like I mentioned, like surfing, I don't really do that anymore. I don't really go skateboarding anymore. I don't really do some of the things I used to go for long distance runs. I can't really do that anymore. I do go for long walks now, but I can't really run so much like I used to. So those are things that I really loved growing up, and also going to the movies and watching movies and studying them and reading about the director and the actors and the process and things like that.
Mm-hmm. My favorite pastimes, I used to do a lot when I was younger. I was never bored. I was always doing something. I have a lot of interests and everything. And I don't feel like I really get to do, I joke, not joke, but we never really have time to do any pastimes.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes me sad for us.
Yeah.
So I think I'm looking forward to getting to do more of those things. Mm-hmm. I have been reading this year. I really didn't read for years and years, and I've been reading a lot this year. I've been really proud of myself to do that, because I made a plan to do that and I've stuck with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just looking forward to maybe just doing some enjoyable things. I used to ride my bike a lot, before my accident, and you just bought me a new bike. It's a 3-wheel bike, because I can't ride a regular bike. So I love being out in the fresh air and riding a bike. So I'm looking forward to that. And just kind of, I'm with you. We haven't gone to the movies a lot after COVID. We don't have a lot of money to do that. So we've been watching a lot of movies at home, which is also fine. But I'm looking forward to that. I want to get back to doing some enjoyable pastimes. Maybe we'll find some new hobbies.
Yeah.
You never know.
Mm-hmm.
We're never too old. All right, let's shift into the next group. Marriage. Okay. Mm-hmm. If you haven't listened to our marriage episode, we did an actual series back in the fall. You can go check it out. There was an episode with Deacon Dawn, which was Marriage 101. There was an episode on commitment, and then there was one on our marriage that talked about how we got married, how we separated for over 3 years, we got back together. So go have a listen to that if you haven't. It's a really good episode, I think. But Simon and I have been back together, living in the same space for a year. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
So let's a few things about our marriage. Okay.
Okay.
And I know you're very private, but these don't have to get, too scandalous. What are the benefits of being married, in your opinion?
I think that's a pretty simple question. I'll give you a simple answer. I think that kind of like we're like Lego pieces. Like there's things that you're really, really good at and I'm not good, or things that I just have no interest in doing, and vice versa. And so we sort of fit that. Those are big, big benefits. I knew that when we lived apart, there were tasks that I had to do that normally you would take care of. I just dreaded doing it. I was terrible at it, and I just really kind of did not enjoy doing it. Like, you're really good at organizing and making sure the house is like, in ship shape and stuff. And I don't like a dirty house, but I certainly don't like cleaning a house and organizing stuff.
And I love it.
Yeah. So that's a benefit. I think, what's that one movie? I don't know. Was it Bridget Jones' Diary or some Tom Cruise movie where Renee Zellweger says, "You complete me"?
Oh yeah, Jerry Maguire.
Jerry Maguire. There you go. So I think that's really true.
Oh, I complete you? That's so nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think the benefits of being married are we're supposed to be partnered up, and I feel off if I don't have my husband with me. I feel like I'm missing a body part, so that was hard for me, that I didn't feel like I was complete. And I just think it's something that we're supposed to strive for, is to be married. I think it's God's plan, and it feels right. It feels good. I like that, we complement each other, and not just like, oh, you're so handsome, oh, you're so beautiful, but complement each other in the way that, like you say, where, we balance each other out, I think, really well. Mm-hmm. And then what's your favorite part of our marriage?
Of our marriage? Like I mentioned, there's things that you're good at and that I'm not very good at, and vice versa. So there's that. But there's also things that we have in common. Like, we have the same interests in art. We travel well together. We like to go to certain things. We like to go to churches and museums and see a lot of the same types of stuff. We're kind of drawn towards very similarly themed stories, whether it's in movies or books or what have you. So we talk about a lot of stuff like that. So that's my favorite part, is just finding those connection points that I have with you, and just really just enjoying those moments that we have.
I agree with all that. And then I'll add that I love that you're Catholic, that we're both Catholic. That's really important. I can't imagine being married to somebody who's not Catholic. Just my personal opinion. I know people are, but that wouldn't work for me, because I love to be able to talk to you about Jesus. And, like I've said in other episodes, where you don't get tired of me talking about Jesus. Maybe you do, but you never let on. But, some people don't want to hear me talking about it all the time, and talking about him, I mean. And so I love that we're both Catholic, and I love that I agree with you. We have a lot of things in common and things we like to do together, and I have fun with you. I love being with you. I think we work really well together too. We're a really good team.
Yeah.
So all that. What have you learned about yourself since we got married? Something different you didn't know. Did something new come out since we've been married?
I hate to say this, but it's true that I have had failed marriages in the past. And so, I had to learn and really self-evaluate what were my shortcomings, and sometimes it was either, it was patience. Sometimes it was being spiritually unbalanced, and that wasn't good. I've learned that the biggest, most important thing is priorities as to what to put first, second, and third, and fourth, and fifth, and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, God up at the top, our marriage, our family, our friends, things like that. I had that kind of mixed up for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really it was all about my kids.
Yeah.
And that was not good for our marriage.
No, it really threw it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I appreciate that. What I learned about myself since we got married is I am capable of, not to a huge degree, and I know you'll probably laugh, but I have had to learn to be more flexible and spontaneous. I wasn't like that before at all. And I really am more like that now. And I also learned about myself that I thought I was one type of person, but being married to you, I'm a different type of person. And I feel like I'm more myself now than I've ever been. I don't know what I was before. I don't know what I was trying to do, but this is more me. Like when I'm with you, I feel like I'm able to just be me. I know we've gone through some adjustments where I've had to like adjust some things about myself and my personality that were not working for our marriage.
Mhm.
I'm feeling more at peace and happier now. I feel happier with our marriage now than I ever have.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that I'm capable of doing that, I guess.
Yeah.
And really wanting to make it work and love you so much. And what have you learned from me?
I've learned a lot. I've learned my shortcomings. I've learned about things that I thought I was pretty good at, but actually when it comes down to it, you're way, 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 way better. And I'm a pretty hard worker. I work long hours. I really keep my head down. I really kind of don't give up. Unfortunately, the things and projects that I'm personally involved with, I'm always swinging for the fences. So when doing that, there's a lot of failures. One of these days I'm going to connect and just hit a home run, but it's not as often as you're just swinging as hard as you can. And I've seen you just more consistently moving forward, plodding forward. You're very, very consistent with stuff, and you're very reliable. And, somebody who goes out and just tries to, knock it out of the park every single time is, I think I would be a frustrating person to be with in that sense. So, sometimes I have learned that, hey, in this situation, in this goal that we're trying to achieve, it's better for me to be more consistent in plodding forward than it is to, go out and just try to kill. Like, for example, like just simple things like just exercise. If I hadn't exercised for a while, I might go out and do something like go do a 10-mile run or something crazy like that. And I know by living with you that maybe I should take little baby steps, and maybe I should start with 1 mile and 2 miles and 3 miles. And that's what I've done this year. I've done this for a year now. So now I'm, I average whatever, 4 miles per workout is what I normally do. And so I don't think I would have done that if I hadn't seen you do that.
Well, and I think that I am a very, regimented person, and just getting us on a schedule where it's a more doable schedule, where we're stopping. Okay, we're going to go work out now. We're going to do this now. We're going to stop for dinner. We're going to, I think that's been really helpful.
It has. I also know that you're very, very predictable, and that might not sound great,
but
it's also, you're very reliable. Like, I know that if I, get up at 6 a.m., I know exactly where you are and I know you're reading the Bible and you're doing your scripture readings and all that stuff. I know exactly where you are at 3:30 a.m. I know you're getting up in the morning. I know these things, and it's just a real, I can rely on you. I know, and I know that's not the case with me.
No.
Yeah, I'm kind of all over.
You're a loose cannon.
Yeah, all of it.
No, but it's just, I don't know. Yeah, we're very different in that, for sure. But I've learned from you that it's okay to not have to always be doing everything precisely either. If I need to take a day off, I feel like you're an easy person. If I say, I'm going to go take a nap, you're not going to go, what? You're going to take a nap? Like, why are you going to do that, you lazy thing? You're all for a nap. You know what I mean? You've helped me with that. And then I think you've helped me to really try to be a more soft person and not so aggressive. I know that you don't respond well to, loudness, a lot of, yelling, anger, and I'm just like that. That's like a thing.
Yeah.
So I haven't mastered it because I am, Italian. It's my personality. It's in my DNA.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that you bring a softer, if I'm really wound up about something, you're more you ask more questions, you try to reel me in, instead of adding to it, you're trying to reel me in.
Mm-hmm.
And so I appreciate that because I really haven't had that before.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate that. And I think it's helping.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can feel that it's helping because I don't want to cause you stress and trauma. I know in the past I've done that and I don't want to do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And so I even catch myself and say, I don't want to do this right now. I need to, I'm separating myself, going in the other room because I don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to spiral. I don't want to scare you. I don't want to do any of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I have that tendency.
Mm-hmm.
I have in the past. So I appreciate that,
Mm-hmm.
that you've taught me that. And what are your hopes and dreams for our future together?
Oh, wow. Well, that's kind of a loaded question because I've been working really hard on that part of our life. And I'm really looking forward to seeing it in action. Our travels, we're planning on traveling all over the world.
Our missionary adventure?
Yeah, our missionary adventure, traveling. And we have really specific things that we're trying to do. I mean, we've already committed to doing this. Mm-hmm. And I'm really looking forward to being out there.
Right. So we have definitely started the process of our mission. It's happening. We got our truck, and we're looking at fifth wheels to head out on our adventure. And I know that we got a big map, which I'm excited about. And we're going to put push pins in to show where we want to go and where we've been. So these are steps towards our missionary adventure. Yeah. And I'm happy because I am looking forward to spending time alone. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to creating on the road. I'm looking forward to seeing things I've never seen before and experience those things and experience other people. And I know you've been out traveling the United States, the past few years filming for a documentary, but I haven't been. Mm-hmm. And I've been to a select few states with you mainly, honestly. Yeah. I've been to more states with you than probably anybody else. Mm-hmm. I went to a lot of states when I was a little child with my grandparents. We went on a road trip, but I don't really remember those that well. So I'm really looking forward to peace, calm, creativity, and more peace. Yeah. And just spending time alone with you. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah. And like maybe not so much angst all the time. Mm-hmm. It'll be, I think this is going to be really good for us. It's giving us something to look forward to. I feel like we never really do anything for ourselves, and everybody else is out doing whatever they want and we don't get to do anything. And I'm not saying it in a boo-hoo, poor us way. I'm just saying it's time now. Yeah. It's time for us to get to go do something that we will find enjoyable. We're entitled to that, certainly. What do you love about being Catholic?
Well, I love the relationship that it enables me to have with Christ. And I love that I can participate in the sacraments. I love that I can receive his body and blood every week. I love learning about Christ more and more. The more I read and study about him, it's kind of like a infinite joy that I have. So, and I love that what it does to my relationships as a human being with other human beings, like in my marriage. I know that I have this covenant that's unbreakable, and I know how I should love and treat my family, my children, my friends. I know what's absolute, what's right and wrong. It's given me a roadmap for my life.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I agree with all that. I second that. I do love the tradition of it all. I love being part of this Catholic family, in the world. Like, I feel like anytime I hear somebody's Catholic, I feel an instant connection to them. It makes me feel really good and secure, and security is a big thing with me. I love the calmness and peace of the Mass. I love the beauty of the Mass, and I love my relationship with Christ, that it's just so fulfilling to me, and it's so real. It's not something we just talk about. It's a lifestyle. I feel like really good about that. I love that. I don't feel it's fleeting. I feel it's very solid, and I agree with you where it makes all relationships more real and beautiful, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that. What are your hopes for the Catholic Church? Like on the whole?
On the whole, well, that's a big...
Not like just our Catholic Church.
No, I know. That's a big question.
I know.
I think that one of the reasons why we are going out on this mission is to assess the needs of all these different parishes, first across the United States and then into the bigger world, as we're planning on going other places in the United States. So I think that my hope is that their needs will be met in some way. I know that just living in this world, in this society, that it's, the Catholic Church is not necessarily the most popular. I know that the Catholic Church gets persecuted quite a bit for its stance on certain things, and people, turn that into political stuff or what have you. But ultimately, it's whether we are gaining people within the church, because I know that the Catholic Church has struggled in losing a lot of Catholics in different generations, whether it's losing a lot of teens or families just aren't together anymore and aren't going to Mass as much anymore. I think times have really, really changed and have really challenged the church. In the United States specifically, in other countries, it's, sometimes it's better and worse. Like in France, I believe that the churches there are like museums as opposed to places of worship now. Mm. So I would love to see just a thriving, rich church where these churches are just busting at the seams to, jam people in the pews. And I know that's not the case. I don't, in knowing, reading Revelation, for example, and seeing what, maybe the end times will produce, I know that there's a great falling away and even the elect will be deceived and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's just going to be a challenge for us, but I'm into it. I don't want to say I'm into the fight, but I'm also don't want to say that I am not willing to stand up for my faith, because I am. And that's what we're doing. And we're making some bold strides. And I would hope that other people would do the same.
Right. And I get what you're saying too. I believe that. I believe all that too. I will also be very interested to see what the take is when we go out and about and we're traveling to these churches and for ourselves, so we can see for ourselves, like what their needs are, where are people thriving in their faith and where are they not, you know? And I think it'll be an interesting study. And my hopes for the Catholic Church is very similar. Of course, I would love for all people to become Catholic. I think it's the most beautiful religion, the most beautiful faith. And so that's my biggest dream. If I had my biggest dream, it would be everybody would be Catholic. And that being said, it's like, I wish that people would, the scales would fall from their eyes and they would realize their life would be so much more meaningful and beautiful if they gave up so many of these sins and vices and bad habits and things that are detrimental to themselves and others, and focus more on the Lord, And within the Christian community, I really wish that the Catholics and the Protestants weren't always at odds, because I think the more lovers of Jesus there are, the better. And I said it in another episode, I wish we weren't arguing with each other when we all love Christ.
Right.
If you could have prayers answered for sure, where Jesus was sitting in front of you and he said, Simon, pray to me something you really, really want, and it's going to come true right now.
Wow. Like a genie in the bottle wish? Okay.
Kinda,
Okay.
except for it's a Jesus and not in a bottle.
I guess I would say anybody who I spoke to who could hear my voice would immediately understand that they need Christ in their life. Immediately.
Boom. Wouldn't that be beautiful if that happened?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That would be.
That's a good one. Mine's similar, but I would also wish that there would be just more love and peace. And yes, and then what you're saying, like all balled up into one, because I believe he is love and peace. Jesus is love and peace. So I'm with you, but I would just add those extra 2 little words. I agree. We're in agreement. Okay, so here's a fun one. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
If you could have a whole day, I was going to do a dinner with, but the whole day, because I think a dinner is too short. If you could have a whole day with 5 religious figures, we'll call them. I was going to say biblical, but I want to include saints in that.
Okay.
Okay. 5 holy figures. Who would they be?
Wow.
All together.
Okay. Well, number one, of course, Christ.
Yes.
I'd like to spend the whole day, have Christ to myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would probably make a 24-hour marathon and stay awake, drink lots of coffee, and just talk and learn and spend time.
Okay.
And that would be number one. I think I'd like to have a really good talk with Joseph, St. Joseph, Jesus' father, and talk to him about fatherhood. I think that would be just amazingly insightful, because he never spoke in the Bible. He's never quoted. So, he had a lot to say, but he also had a big secret. And I would also like to spend time with Mary. I think that would be I would really be humbled, I think, to be around any of these people, especially Christ. But I think when you see people, I see examples now, but when you see people who are striving for purity and are really holy people, it's such a privilege just to be around them. And they're so wise. And I think she has incredible wisdom. I think that would be amazing to spend time with her. I think it would be a really awesome experience to spend time with Elijah, specifically in the Bible, because every man is appointed to death, correct? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Except Elijah is one of the only people in the Bible who never died.
Mm-hmm.
God took him straight up to heaven.
Mm-hmm.
And, I believe he's coming back, according to Revelation, and he will be killed because every man is appointed to die. Mm-hmm. They say his body's going to rot in the streets for like 7 days. I could be wrong, but how many days? But I think, during the rough times when we're really battling it out, I just would love to spend time with somebody who's taken straight up to heaven. And I think, again, wow, God must have really saw something beautiful in that man to take him straight up to heaven.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing. And I think I'd like to spend, these are big figures, I would love to spend time with any saint, any saint. But I'd also, these landmark people like Jesus and like Mary and like Joseph and like Elijah, I'd also like to spend time with Moses. I sometimes relate to him in that I feel like I'm not a very good speaker, and I think he struggled. Mm-hmm. He had like a speech impediment. I feel like I have just, my tongue gets tied a lot. I have a lot in my mind and my heart. It's hard for me to say things clearly. And, he's one of the, few people that was able to stand in the presence of God, not Jesus, in his body, but the presence of God. In his presence, he's standing, he stood on holy ground. I would love to talk to him about that and what that experience was like and what he saw. And, I think that would be amazing. And I guess all my 5 choices are gone now.
That's it. And you could probably do so many more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So mine would be obviously Jesus. He's my favorite guy. So Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, for sure.
Okay.
And then I love St. Paul.
Mm.
I love him.
Mm-hmm.
I really identify with him to a degree in a lot of things. And I think he's so wise, and I love what he has to say. And so I would love to talk to him. And then Mother Teresa.
Mm.
And I think just obviously being in the presence of Jesus would be, I feel the same way. I would like to just be me and him alone without anybody else.
Mm.
But, you know, this is a fantasy day with
Yeah.
these folks. So I feel like I really do love to hear, like, I would love to hear all their take on just life in general and what they, you know, advice they would have, and just talk about their experiences from their own mouth, how they felt. I would love to ask questions that weren't quite addressed in the Bible. You know, things were left out
Mm-hmm.
that I would love to know,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
like how was Jesus as a child? You know, how was it for Mary to have to go through all that with her son?
Yeah.
I would love to know, you know, what Joseph, if he could say anything, what would he have said in the Bible? What would be his quote? Kind of like in a yearbook.
Well,
What would Joseph have said?
Yeah. I mean, I think he was just busting at the seams to say, this is the Savior of the world.
Right.
I saw it.
Right.
You know, God gave him that secret and that privilege that he had to be quiet about.
Yeah. So I think that's a fun question to kind of ponder. And then my last question is, what is something that makes you instantly laugh or smile? You don't have to just think of one thing, but if you can think of some things that just instantly when you think about it, it makes you laugh or smile.
Well, I think like yawning, laughing is contagious.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something about hearing a child laugh that is so pure.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets me.
Mm-hmm.
It really gets me. And I have a little secret about that too.
What's that?
So there's certain sounds that really bring me peace.
Mm.
And one of the sounds that bring me peace is the sounds of children playing like at a park or something
Mm-hmm.
in the distance.
Mm-hmm.
I just love hearing that. It's just so joyous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's one reason I moved my office at the church.
Oh, yeah.
I moved it from one side of the building to the other, and I overlook the nursery school, the grade school, you know, the grammar school, and the high school. And so I just love to hear them out there playing. I love nothing more than to hear the little nursery school kids. They're precious and adorable. The way they talk, how they talk to each other. Yes, very pure, very sweet, and it's adorable. And yeah, I'm with you, you know, like the sound of, especially like our children, our grandchildren laughing. I love to hear people laughing, like a good laugh, like when my mom is really laughing. I love her laugh, you know. She just has this great laugh. I love to hear you laugh because it's not very often, but when you laugh, I really love it because when I picture you laughing, it's adorable. But I'm with you on all that. But I also have things that are kind of silly, but I have this one video that I have of Paul Rudd, the actor, and he's dancing and he's like lip syncing this song. And every time I think of it, I just crack up. Like if I'm ever in a bad day, I'll just look at that because he's just like so thrilled with himself. So it just quite cracks me up. So there's nothing like a good laugh.
Yeah.
There is nothing like a good laugh. So, and smiling, I'm a big smiler.
Yeah.
I'm known for my smile. So I definitely, it was really hard for me during COVID that people couldn't see me smiling because that's my thing. That's my jam.
Yeah.
So I had to learn how to smile with my eyes.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, I think this has been a fun, frivolous episode. And I think y'all should do this at home. You should ask each other these questions. I think they're good questions. And if you want my list, email me, Lori@freshcatholic.com, and I'll send you the list. And then you guys can play a summer game. Make up your own list, too. You can add to it. But I just thought this would be fun. I do want us all to keep President Trump in your prayers and the family of the victim who died in the shooting. Let's all pray for, our country to be more united. Let's all try to have a more positive attitude towards each other. I don't really think that I'm telling my listeners, because I have this vision of my listeners as being such wonderful, holy, God-loving people. So when I say, when I'm encouraging you all, I know you're all out there praying. I know you're trying to lead a good and healthy and holy life, but we need to pray for those that are struggling with these things. So thank you for listening today. Thank you for coming. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. You've gotten to know Simon and I a little bit more, much to his chagrin. He's very private, but he's getting good at opening up. So all this for the glory of the Lord. So thank you, Simon, for coming.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Love you. Bye.
Thank you for joining me today. Now go out and be a bright light in someone's life. And remember, be focused, be faithful, and be fresh.
Fresh Catholic is produced, edited, and recorded in Ventura, California.